everyone. Welcome back. My name is Liesl, if you've never seen me before.
I'm Brittany.
We're moms, and we're here to talk about mom stuff. Clearly, today, the title says social media, so we will be discussing that. But we do like to start most of our discussions with a segment called Peaks and Valleys. So,
Because motherhood's full of, it's like this.
But it's such a great ride.
So good.
You can't have the peaks without the valleys.
Yeah, it's true.
So, speaking of valleys, I am going to start with my valley of the week. Zachariah, he's great. He has so much energy. Oh, Zachariah is the name of my son, if you didn't know. But he is 2, and he has so much energy. He always has from the day he was born. And so we went to church this last weekend, which he actually lasted, I would say, like a long time, like through worship, through, I would say, like half of the message.
He's great, yeah.
And then he just needs to get up and be mobile.
Yeah.
So he was great. I took him out for a walk. Your mom took him out for a walk. And then the service was ending, and I had to walk him back in the opposite direction, and it caused a bit of a meltdown, which kind of lasted all day. I would say we went through like 3 weeks of like perfect toddler behavior.
Wow. No terrible twos.
No terrible twos. I was prepared for the terrible twos, but I think maybe I just got a good one, or we're just, I don't want to toot my own horn, but we're pretty good with like discipline.
Yeah.
So
he's not terrible at all.
No.
Never been terrible around me. So
it's just like,
I mean, terrible. I feel like people will be like, no child is terrible. I agree. I do agree. But you know, that kind of behavioral stuff.
Yeah. And I'm in like a couple Facebook groups of like spirited children, which I guess is like another term for like strong-willed. And reading these posts, I don't think he's as strong-willed as like I thought he was. Because I read some of these things and I'm like, oh, no. Like,
whoa.
there's one mom that said that she hasn't had a good day since her child was born, and he's 9.
What?
I'm like, no.
Sorry, I yelled.
I'm like,
I was thinking 9 months, but 9 years?
9 years. And I'm just
I don't know. Oh, if that's accurate, is she a negative person or no?
I don't know. It's just, I don't know how many like moms are in this group.
That
and then there's I was just like, oh, there's another one that says that her child is 4 and same. But I have
not one good day.
Not one good day.
Dang, I feel like you could find something good.
Yeah. I don't know.
Wow.
But
anyways,
we have 95% good days. And then sometimes like there are moments, but I feel like
we have moments too. So,
but he just had a meltdown. And that was just one of the days where he woke up from his nap and we were just kind of like, when is bedtime? But that happens like maybe once a month. So I can't really complain. That was just like our valley for the week where he was crying and it was just like a rough day, but we got through it.
Yeah.
It was just in the moment. I'm just like, bedtime can't come fast enough. And I feel bad, like, wishing that it was bedtime. But sometimes it's just...
I feel like, too, though, if your baby, like, if your child isn't... Clearly, they're not having a great day. It's not like they're loving life and you're just like, please go to bed because I don't want to deal with you. It's just like, you're having a rough one. I'm having a rough one. I know that the moment we go to bed, that's when we hit the reset button. Yeah. And then you'll probbly wake up feeling great again. Yeah. Which is nice.
It was a day. But we got through it. And that was, if that is like the one bad day of the month, I'll be fine.
Yeah. I hope it is. I bet it will be.
I think so.
He's practically perfection.
Practically. He's so cute. That's hard to stay mad at him.
He's so cute. I know. Ashton's only 6 months old, but she's really developing her will. I can tell.
Yeah.
For the most part, she's super chill, super peaceful. But she's now to the point where, like, in the high chair, let's just say, and she's like, I don't want that anymore, or something. And she'll like throw her head back and be like, "Arr!" And I'm like, oh, no, we can't be doing that. But you're 6 months old, so I also don't know what to do about it. But yeah, her will is coming through.
And I feel like, too, because they can't speak yet, like Zachariah does talk a lot, but I can't like sit him down and say, what's wrong with you?
How are you feeling, son? Use your words.
So like, is he uncomfortable? Is he just hot? And that's like snowballing into everything. I don't know. So it's just like a matter of like, it's even, I don't want to say it's worse when they're like Ashton's age, but it's less like, if something is bothering him, I can kind of figure it out. Yeah. And he'll like say like what he wants to do.
He has a couple words and you've had now 2 years with him. So I feel like you have that really, really intense connection to your child where you just have that like internal intuition of like, I think I know what you need.
Yes.
Because that's why God created us to be. But yeah, when they're 6 months old, I'm like...
like, I know what he wants to do and what he doesn't want to do. So it's, in a sense, like, easier.
Yeah.
But also, because he is 2, it's also harder because he has stronger opinions and thoughts on what he wants to do and doesn't want to do. Yeah. So, and he's also just stronger.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was my Valley for the week. What was yours?
So my Valley, it was pretty deep. I don't know how to say it any other way. It goes along with the topic for today, which is social media. I got a message, insert here, that obviously is upsetting.
Yeah.
Am I afraid? Well, let me back it up a little bit. This is not the first one I've gotten. I get messages like this, and I'm pretty sure from the same person. There's about 5 people that are kind of in rotation that I get weird, not just me, but Kellen as well, get just weird messages, right? Not really fearful, report, block, move on. That's like my step. I'm like, the quicker I can just be like, get out of here, then the quicker I forget. Yeah. And what use is there to like meditate on that, right? So I'm just like, get rid of it. I don't know you're a stranger. But I got that message and I was like, ugh, not fearful for my life or anything like that, even though they did say they will kill me. It's when you bring in my child and are aggressive / like they've come up with very creative ways to harm or even murder my baby. So in that, yes, they've been reported. Yes, I'm doing all the things. But when you see it, it's still like...
It triggers you.
There's something about being a mom that you're like, you're so not worth my time. And I've taken the steps I need to for safety. But man, if you were in front of me, I would like...
Mama Bear gets engaged, like instantly.
And I'm an introvert, and I hate confrontation. I like avoid it at all costs until it's you do. I know. That's why I'm always like, please, will you come help me? But until this, you mess with my child, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I think that I am. I will go off. So that was just frustrating. It's more than anything just the agitation of like, there are people out there like that. I feel like this is an extreme case. I feel like that person has a mental disorder. You don't just come up with something. There are people that write things just for a response, or they don't feel seen, or they're in pain, or they're hurting. I get that. And I actually engage with people like that, and immediately their tune changes because they're like, oh, I didn't think you saw me. And it's like, man, to get to that point where you really feel that invisible, that you can just spew hate at someone. And then when they say, oh, I see you, you're like, oh, my bad. It's like, but why were you doing that? You could have you could send love messages to people. But yeah, so that was my Valley, just in that I just hate that there are people like that. And then it makes me just question the whole use of social media. Yeah. And there's so many good things, but those couple negatives, I'm like, is it even worth it? Because is it safe for our children? Is it safe? You know what I mean? Yeah. And I just feel like there's 2 sides to it, and we'll get more into that in the video. But yeah, it's just, it wasn't a good day when I saw that.
I get those, not those specific messages. Obviously, they're different for us, but keyboard warriors are fun.
Yeah, it's challenging. It is challenging. Because on one hand, I'm like, we should just eliminate everyone. Not eliminate them in a bad way, like not get rid of them. Gonna eliminate their use to a computer. You know what I mean? Like, okay, well now you have a ding on your... I don't know what you would call it. Connected to your driver. I haven't thought this through, but you know what I'm saying? Where if you like, hey, you used a computer to say really bad things. You are in timeout. You don't get access to the internet or to a computer. How do we do this? I don't know. Because that's on one hand. Then on the other hand, I truly, 1,000,000% do believe in free speech until it's, murder, threatening, of course. But if you just don't like the way I live my life or the way I raise my daughter, I mean, it's bothersome, but also like you don't live in my house. Yeah. So I do believe that everyone's, entitled to their opinion, even though most are.
You want like a rating system like on that one episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah.
Like too many bad ratings and like you're not
a good human. No, but it's just like, again, I think like people do try to figure out like ways to fix these things, I don't know that there's a fix, honestly. I mean, the fix, it's like much deeper than anything that we could fix. So yeah, it's just tough. But anyways, on to a lighter note. What was your peak?
I don't know if it's, well, I guess it would be a peak. Zachariah for like the last, I would say 2 weeks, has been waking up much later.
Oh yeah, you've said that.
So like we start our day around like 9:30 now, which is a dream. He's still taking like 3.5 hour naps. So I feel like that's like, oh, my child is sleeping so long so I don't have to see him. But that's not the case. It's just like, I'm not a morning person. I have tried. I used to work at a breakfast restaurant and had to be like up and at him at like 6 a.m.
Like fully functioning at 6.
Yeah, for 5 years. And you would think that like you would become a morning person because it's routine. Like I was up that early 5 days a week. No, I just never did.
Yeah.
Still with the child, not a morning person. So like to start my day at 9 has just been like a dream.
What a gift.
It's great.
You did say though that like you put him to bed at the same time, but is he just staying up later playing in his crib and then falling asleep later, or is his actual sleeping longer? Maybe he's growing. He is growing, I will say. Growing. He is getting taller and taller every time I see him.
So I don't know, but I like it. So that's my peak. Is that I get to sleep in.
Shoot, that's a good peak. Like I wouldn't. The fact that you started this, I don't know if that's a peak. That's a peak, I would say. Shoot,
I don't start my day till 9 a.m. I'm sorry if you're a mom and you start your day at like 5, but I'll be praying for you.
I started mine. I've been starting mine between 6 and 6:30.
That's good for you.
Out of yeah, I'm not telling anyone else they need to, but I've been doing that because I'm like, I've been weighing everything. I'm like, I really want time to do da 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 da. I don't have that. And so then God's like, well, you know what? You do have a child who sleeps through the night. You could get up a little earlier. And I'm like, oh, but is there like maybe another? You could help her sleep longer. He is not helping her do that. So that means that I have to get up earlier. But anyways, my peak is very exciting. So Ashton has been teething since like, gosh, I don't know, 8 weeks old, 10 weeks old. Like just the drool. Blah, it's just everywhere. She's soaking wet all the time. I get lots of messages on social media about that. Like, you know, you can get her a bib. I'm like, the one time I share her. Plus it's also, can I just say something a little, is caveat the right word? A little sidebar. It's been so hot in our house that I swear I will wet us sometimes with water or we'll go out to the pool. It's like the cool, even if it's drool, feels nice. Is that terrible?
No.
She's not upset. She's as happy as a clam. And I don't leave her like that all the time. Anyways.
All babies drool.
It just happens. But she's in a bib like so often.
Yeah.
But anyways, so she's been drooling because she's teething. And just this last week, we did not break one, but both lower bottom teeth. They're right here, and they're so cute. And already, they're not way out there, but they broke. Like, you can feel them. But already, like, the drool, I can see less. Like, instead of it being a ring like this, it's just to-do.
It's like as soon as those first two break through, something happens, because it was the same with Zachariah.
I've heard that and read it, but I'm like, please let it be true.
Yeah. I think it comes back, I think, when they get their top two. If those are the ones that they get next. Some babies get the fangs, which is so cute.
Aww,
but cute. It does come back, but not as aggressively.
Okay.
So the bibs might make it come back.
Because they've done it before. Yeah. So they're like, oh, I kind of recognize this.
So if she like got fussy during this time, she'll probably be less or not fussy at all the next few times.
I'm excited.
They're used to it.
But it's so cute. But she has this giant tongue. Does anyone else's baby have a giant tongue? I try to search for the teeth, and it's like the tongue just, I'm like, get out of there. Let me see your cute little teeth. So now my goal is like, I want to make her laugh hard. So it's like where you can see it. Oh, it's so cute. But anyways.
The two bottom teeth are so cute. All teeth are cute. All baby smiles are cute. But
they really are. Okay, let's jump into how we feel about social media and all the things.
Okay.
Well, let me ask you this first. Do you enjoy social media? Because there are some people that love it and some people that hate it. And what do you use it for? Do you use it for like just to keep up with friends and family? Do you use it for business? I feel like I know this answer, but
all of the above.
Yeah.
I feel like, well, with family, I see family enough to where like I don't necessarily need to see them on social media. Do I like it? Yes. I also feel like with family, like it's a little weird. Sometimes I feel weird posting stuff on like social media because I'm like, are they gonna not judge me? But it's just like, that's not you. And I'm like, it is me, but a businessy side of me.
Yeah.
But I definitely use it for everything. I feel like maybe entertainment mostly, but also connection.
Yeah. How do you post, like when you post things or when you interact with, you know, people who follow you or that are friends with you, do you post from a standpoint of like, again, all the above, or is it mainly like businessy or for creative outlet or for connection? Like if you could say one of the above.
Probably connection the most. Definitely, like, I definitely am a content creator. I hate saying that, but
I know it's all the words like content creator, influencer, but they're legitimate jobs now.
Yeah.
Like people are buying homes in Southern California, and if you don't know the real estate market, just look it up. It's like $2,000 a square foot or something. But yeah, like that's legitimately a job. So yeah. I feel like we need to stop being so insecure about it.
I know.
This is how we have our income for now. It's the way you provide for your family, and no matter what it is, that is honorable.
Yeah. I create content online for different businesses or for myself, and I get paid for it. So that's currently what I'm doing. Yeah. But that being said, I think for me, especially, we lived in LA for 5 years, and then I became a mother. And it's really hard, you know, it's really hard to make friends in LA. And it's hard. It's just, I feel like the older you get, the harder it is to make friends. And then depending on like where you are, like physically, geographically, it can be harder or easier. I feel like it's really hard to make friends in LA.
I agree.
So to have friends online and to talk to people, like that was easy in an outlet. I don't know necessarily if it's easy, but it was just like, okay, like I have friends, someone that lives in Texas or someone that lives like in England.
Yeah.
And then being a mom and having a newborn and being house ridden, it was just easier for me to make friends online or to talk to people online and not feel so like isolated. Totally. Definitely still felt isolated, but
it helped.
It helped. So I would say that the majority of it I use for connection, but then also like if I don't have anyone to talk to, I have people to talk to online.
Yeah.
Or even if it's like I'm just talking to my phone. I like it because I like talking.
Yeah.
I like looking. I like researching, and I can do all of those things on social media.
Yeah. Is there a certain platform that you like more than the others? Because I feel like the popular ones are like what, Facebook still, Instagram, TikTok.
I feel like we're still too young
Snapchat?
for Facebook.
I know. But I feel like I know some of my peers, like Facebook is still.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Huh.
I don't have Facebook anymore.
Really?
Technically, I do. I think I have 7 friends, and they're just my immediate family. But I went through and got, because I hadn't used it in years.
Yeah.
And there was just information living on there. And then I also was friends, because it was like in the age of like, oh, you just friend, like, well, I didn't friend people, but you meet people. And then I'm like, oh, just accept all the requests, but I don't know you. And I wasn't using it. So I'm like, let's just do away with it. But
I don't use it, but I'm in like groups.
Well, you have your groups. And that's now, one thing.
I guess there was a resurgence after I had Zach.
Yeah. And that's, I feel like, where I haven't entered back in yet, but I should, because of the world of Facebook groups. And even like with doing like devotions or like, you know, Instagram is my platform of choice. Same. I like it. I think specifically because I'm a visual person, and it's, for the most part, you know, photos and now reels and all these other things, but it's visual. It's like Twitter, I never really got into, which is funny because I love to write, but I don't like to read. So I'm like, Twitter, not really my thing. Instagram, I'm like, I can get on board with this because there's filters, and like, remember back in the day, the original filters and stuff. Like, I just liked it. That was like a more of a fun creative outlet.
And now Instagram has everything because you have captions. So if you want to talk like Twitter, you can. They have filters, so Snapchat. Yeah. Basically, Instagram story became what Snapchat was.
Yeah.
They have Reels now, which is what TikTok is, kind of.
It's kind of all morphed into one super platform in a weird way. I know the other ones are still big, but that's like mine of choice. I do work via Instagram. For sure. So like, as far as like influencer or content creator, you know, it is definitely, it's a job. And if you can, you know, support your family or add to it, sure. I think it's great and you should do it. I I don't know. I'm trying to think, did it change for you, like how you viewed social media and how you used social media? Did it change after you had Zachariah, whether positive, negative, not either? Like, did it change at all? Or do you feel like you're still the same person and presence now that you were pre-baby?
I would say I probably use it the same, but different. I will not, before I would just like, post whatever. But now, I've got a child, and so he's my main focus.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ignore him to
for sure
story, and I'm not going to ignore him. And if he's having a meltdown, I'm going to address the meltdown, not ignore it or not like broadcast it. So I'm definitely much more aware. And also like if I'm having a bad day, I'm not going to jump on and pretend like I'm not, So I'm more in the moment focused than I am about, I don't want to say like people I don't know, because I want to pretend like I know everyone that follows me.
Yeah.
I don't, but I do care about the people.
Your responsibility is to your son and your family first before maybe like creating content or getting on there and like showing face.
Correct. And I feel like too, I feel like right now I do a pretty good balance of like working and real work, which is being a mom and a wife.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I'm not at the point where I feel like I need to jump on every day, and maybe I should if I wanted to grow more and to make more money, if I'm being perfectly honest. But I just don't have it in me right now. And Zachariah needs most of my attention, I would say 90% of the day.
For sure.
I do try and like, if we're having a great day, and he wants to be on camera, like, we're having a great day. People love to see him.
Yeah.
Like they want to see him more than they want to see me, which I'm like, but you follow me, not him. So, but I think like I do more work now than I do for fun.
That makes sense. Totally.
How about you?
Because I would agree.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. And kind of what I'm trying to navigate is I loved finding Instagram and I loved I feel like I was kind of more like what you would classify like a micro blogger, which I heard that term later on, which was kind of the lengthier captions that were more of like a mini blog post with a photo, because I just like to write. And so instead of it just being like an emoji or something quick, I would write these things like expressing my thoughts, and people responded to that for me, which I loved. And I really, really love sharing like my life, whether it's hard or happy or whatever. I do get some sort of enjoyment. I don't know what they are, but there's like the 5 basic needs, like contribution, certainty, whatever. Mine is definitely contribution. Like I feel so filled if I feel like I contributed something. And in that, it's not to say like I'm contributing so much value, but there's just something about sharing my experience, because I find so much value from reading other people's experiences. And it doesn't mean it's going to directly relate to me, but in seeing other people's lives, even if I have nothing to relate to, it might be like a lesson of what not to do. Or at least, I might have someone in my life who is similar to that. Like, I just feel like everything is valuable. And you take, at least there's parts of it. You take what's valuable, you drop what isn't. The hard thing for me is that and I still love to share, but pre-having Ashton, I shared so much, and people were along on our journey through, I never say infertility because I never want to label myself or speak that over myself. So our fertility journey, I ended up having to have a surgery, and that's a whole nother video. But basically we got pregnant, and it was so exciting. And it was so fun for me because I had so many people, and probably a lot of you watching, who were rooting for me and praying for us to get pregnant. And so I got pregnant. It was so exciting. And I loved sharing, only to have her never make it into the world. And that was so hard on personal reason, on a personal level. And then it was kind of beautiful because then I was kind of forced to like deal with it in real time via social media, because I can't just show up with like 1 minute I'm like have this giant belly, and then the next time I'm on she's gone. Everyone, like,
if you choose to share something, you kind of have to see it through.
Exactly. And so now being on the other side, got pregnant again, I still shared in that pregnancy, but everything felt, I guess what I'm trying to say is I keep everything so much closer to the chest these days, including Ashton. So I've shared her and people are like, thank you so much for sharing her with us, because so many people, the majority, have been like on our side, on our team praying. But my struggle now is like, I don't feel like I'm in the same season where I can share as freely and as, I don't want to say vulnerably, but like as transparently as I maybe did before her or even when I was pregnant. Yeah. Now everything feels so much more, I don't know if like weighty.
You just want to protect it.
I just want to protect it. So I'm still really working on like the balance of that, because then, I get messages like that and I'm like, dang, is it even worth it? A, to have her anywhere on here, and B, is it worth it for myself to even be on here? Because honestly, I think people, it's like, oh, I don't like the way you're acting, so you change. Yeah. But I was raised in a household where it's like, if you're uncomfortable, you're free to go. Yeah. Like if I'm in a situation or an environment or someone's in front of me that is making me uncomfortable, I get to leave. You know what I mean? My parents always encourage that of us. I've never been like, you leave or you change. Yeah. So it is easy for me when I look at it. I'm like, honestly, if I didn't want this, I could leave. Yeah. I could delete all social media. I don't need any of this, but I really enjoy it. And that's my constant, like, I'm in this tug of war of like, some days I love it and I love the community. And 99% of people are so kind. Yeah. But then there's those days that are a struggle. That's the 1%. And I'm like, do we just like, I don't need this stress. Do I just like let it all go and move on with my life? You know what I mean? Yeah. Do you ever have days like that?
I definitely do. And I will say, like, you said that you're a contributor. I am definitely an oversharer by nature. So if it were up to me, I would share everything with no like thought. But my husband, on the other hand, is a much more private person. And I won't say that I like he never tells me not to post something or not to.
But you're conscious.
I'm conscious of it because he might not want something out there about him or Zachariah. And also, I don't necessarily want everyone involved in like the deep parts of my relationship, of my motherhood. Like, it's just, I want to protect that. And I want to protect like my family and even just me, because you don't need that much of like an insight into my life. So I would say like one of the if I can talk about like disappointments of social media, I would say that I definitely, after becoming a mom, I was definitely disappointed with how some moms made it seem so easy and just like nothing bad ever happens. But then on the other side, like there are moms that I feel like overshare and I'm like, I don't need to see your kid melt down for 5 story frames, you know?
Yeah.
But like I was saying, I just felt like maybe it's because they are full-time content creators and full-time, or maybe they have full-time help. I don't have full-time help. Like Ian is home a lot and we have family close, but I am the primary caretaker. Yeah. And especially, you know, when he had to go back to work after 2 weeks, it was just me with my little baby in so much pain. Yeah. And so I just felt like, you know, there would be moms even still that jump on and they've got like a full face, which is great. I feel better when I have like makeup on, but they just made it seem like having a newborn was so easy. Like, oh yeah, I gave birth and it hurts and blah, blah, blah. And we're not sleeping, but I'm like, but you look like you're sleeping. Yeah. And some babies do sleep pretty well. I just felt like there was such like a disconnect and I was so ill prepared. Mm-hmm. And it kind of made me feel like I was less than. Yeah. Because I couldn't keep up.
Yeah. That's definitely like one of the downsides. And that's kind of like where that comparison comes in, where it's like comparison is a thief of joy. If you're comparing yourself to someone else, then you're missing out on what you currently have like next to you. But I will say that I think it's very easy to say that. You're not always aware of it. And that's when it's like and especially when you're tired and stuff, you have to like do these little, let me check in with myself. Am I subconsciously doing this? Because I think if everyone was so self-aware, we would all be using social media differently. Well, we would be using it. It wouldn't be using us, for one. And we wouldn't feel badly. We would feel good. Because if we were that engaged and aware, we would be like, oh, I'm not feeling good. put it down.
Yeah.
But it's I mean, you guys, it's been created to like suck us in and keep us there for a long time.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like, I think social media makes you, at least as a mom, it makes you feel like you should be a certain way. And if you're not like checking those boxes, then it's like, oh, like this isn't shareable, which it doesn't have to be shareable. Like, no one has to see your matching outfits coming home from the hospital.
Yeah.
But you feel like you have to.
But if you enjoy that, do it. And that's the thing, like, that there really is like I'd say one of the downsides of social media as a whole is that it's highlighting people. Well, let me put it down this way. In school is not for everyone, but the kids that didn't do well doesn't mean they're dumb. Mm-hmm. A lot of the kids that I went to school with who did not grade well were freaking brilliant kids and went on to do great things. I mean, I think a lot of like the CEOs, there's like some sort of thing. Yeah, some went to Ivy Leagues, but there are a lot of people who like got their GED, but they're super creative and innovative and they're entrepreneurs. And it is like, you can't look at one setting and then think everyone's going to thrive in that setting. Yeah. And I feel like in the same way that a traditional, the way our school system is set up, at least here in the States, not every kid is going to thrive in that. Same thing for social media. Yeah. It is a visual platform, and there are some really, really creative people who it is their God-given gifting they just see things. They're creative, whether they're event planners. Like, I have a friend, she is an event planner, and her kids' birthday parties are like spectacular because that is her profession and her God-given gifting. But then you see other people stressing out because they can't give their child this amazing
like
thing.
Like giant balloon arches and like all the pampas grass.
Exactly. Thinking that they're all on the same level with the same opportunity and the same gifting. And no offense, but you're not. Yeah. We're not. I don't have the same gifting as her. I don't have the same giftings as you. Like, maybe there's overlap in some areas. But as a whole, I do think that I wish it was, like, spoken about more. Like, everyone's experience is so unique and independent to them. So maybe, like, it did hurt you. Maybe your birth did hurt you for you. But maybe for me, it would be a piece of cake. Or for you, it would be worse. Like, you just don't know. And it is really, really... It's hard to keep that in mind when you're not mindfully scrolling. Yeah. And when I don't mindfully scroll. I pop on and it's like mindless, like, oh, that's nice, that's beautiful. Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely, again, it's so tricky. Well, for me, one of my hardest things now, and I still have to like navigate it, is I want to be able to use social media to my benefit and not have it use me to its benefit, which is keeping me on a long time, making me like have an insatiable desire to like buy this or have this look of a lifestyle. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's challenging.
I think, I don't know if it's the older I get or the more I use it, but I definitely see it less as like, oh, I need this, I need to be more like this, and more of like inspiration, if that makes sense. Like, I like this, or I like this style, or I like what this person is doing. I think I can do that, but I don't feel the need to do something or buy something.
Versus like aspirational. Yeah. Because I feel like aspirational is like this, like, you can't quite, it's like this, I don't know, you know what I mean? It's like insatiable. It's like, it's aspirational, aim for this, you probably will never make it. And then inspirational makes you not just want to look through their feed, but it makes you be like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. I want to do that, but it calls you like to action. Yeah. That's what I feel like the difference between inspiration and aspiration. Aspiration, you stay sitting on your butt and you're like, I wish. Inspirational is like, I'm going to get up and go do something.
Like, aspirational is stressful.
For sure. Yep. Great way to say it. Inspirational, like, I feel like is
motivating.
Yes. There you go. That's what it is.
You should be inspired with social media.
Yeah. I completely agree.
Well, in some aspects.
Okay, one last question. And this probably could be a lengthy one, but we'll try to keep it short and sweet since we're already long. Do you think that kids should be posted on social media? And, like, what led you to share Zachariah being on? Like, was that a conversation you and Ian had? Or, like, where do you stand on that? Could you ever see it changing?
I think it depends. I obviously, we have a channel. And I post him on my Instagram a lot. Probably every day because he's in my life every day. But I never want it to get to the point of I need him to perform.
Totally. Yep.
I don't want him to be the reason why we make money, you know?
Yeah. Like exploiting him and giving him a job that he didn't sign up for.
There are enough families, I feel like, that exploit their children for money. And I don't ever want him to be that. I never want to put that pressure on him.
Yeah.
So I think we've done a pretty good job. There are jobs that I've taken content creation wise where I've had to ask for more money because it's like something kid-based or, just stuff like that. And I'm like, well, if it's something where he needs to be in it, then I need to be compensated more because, it's just...
Yeah. He's valuable too. So you need, he's not the bonus. If he's going to be there, it needs to be with purpose as well.
Correct.
And the thing that's important to know is that this kid is a ham. He loves the camera.
If he didn't like it, then yeah. And there are days where he doesn't like the camera, so I'm not putting it on him.
Yeah.
He's like, he just doesn't want it in his face. And I'm like, okay, I respect that. I'm not going to put you fussing on camera.
Yeah.
But he does. If you follow me on any social platforms, you will see that this kid loves himself, loves to watch himself. Will stand in front of the mirror and watch himself. And he'll come and ask us for videos of himself to watch. And we'll sit in our laps. It's the only time he'll sit in my lap is to watch himself on camera.
Yeah.
But I am he does.
He loves it.
I'm definitely very aware. He does have an Instagram, but I'm not looking to make money there. It's mostly, okay, full disclosure, he has an agent. So it's mostly there for family or for friends because I don't want to just fill my feed with pictures and videos of him.
Yeah.
I don't post there as often as I thought I was going to. But it's just kind of if you're family or if you really love Zachariah, you can follow him because it's just him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's so cute. And I like to look at him and go back and scroll on older pictures. But he will never be exploited for our benefit. He will never be the focus of our channel. He will never be the focus of my Instagram. Yes, I am a mom and that is a big part of the content that I create, but I never want him to be the reason why I'm successful or I need to make money or unless he decides that when the time comes. But I don't want to say hey, we've got to film this video. Mm-hmm. Hey, I need you to do this and that and that. That's just not for us.
Yeah.
How about you?
I totally agree. I think also every child is different. Your next child that you have might be hate the camera. And obviously you won't. Ashton isn't old enough. I share very little of her on the internet. Because I want her to be able to kind of decide. Zachariah is 2, but he doesn't quite understand the bigger picture, but he's totally fine with, I've seen children that are put your phone down. They don't like it at all. So obviously if that's the case, I don't want my child to not see my face and just see this. You know what I mean? I don't want them to see this thing covering me the whole time, which of course I take a lot of pictures of her. But yeah, I just think every child's different. You have to do what you are feeling right for your child. Mm-hmm. But I definitely agree, exploitation of any way or giving them a job that they didn't apply for. Yeah. Because I've seen people and it's agitating to me when I'm oh my gosh, you're using them as an accessory or as a way to get engagement. Because there have been studies, let's be honest, where getting likes, getting follow, all these things, it's a hit of serotonin? Shoot, what's the word? It's a drug. Basically, it's a drug. And if you are not careful, I think that you can develop this association of if when I post my child, I get this. So I'm just going to keep doing this. Well, now you're just you're using your child and they didn't sign up for that. But yeah, I just think that we'll see as we go forward. It's an ongoing discussion, I guess I could say, with Kellen and I. We constantly are just talking about it, keeping an open dialogue. If at any point either of us is uncomfortable, let's not do it. If she ever showed any, I do not want this, then never, of course. There's just, as much as I love that people love to see her and love her as, a little baby of theirs. But I wouldn't do that. And I just kind of, like you said earlier, I feel my job, I don't feel I know, my job that God gave me when I had her was your job is to cover her, protect her, keep her alive, but love her. And so I would never put her in a position where she wasn't thriving on account of me. You know what I mean? If she's thriving, great.
Like Zachariah thrives on
he
camera.
thrives. But like if she ever got to that point, you know, I also will never post her just to be relatable. Like I'll never post her crying to be like, can I get an amen, moms? Like my job is to cover her, not to exploit her. Also, we didn't even grow up with the internet. Can you imagine if our parents had videos of us everywhere that never goes away, to where when you're in your like very, very, very vulnerable developmental years and you have a buddy who pulls up, oh my gosh, look at your naked body, or look at your this fit that you had. And because kids are already mean, you don't need more ammunition from like when they were big. Like I just think about that as well, and I'm like, I never want to put anything online that their friends at a later date, or anyone for that matter, could pull and use against them in any sort of way. So, and what if they grow up and they don't want any part of their life on the internet? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I just don't know. So yeah, well, thank you guys for joining us. We're definitely going to dive more into this topic in the future with a part 2 social media video, because there's so much more that we can discuss. I mean, we didn't even get into mom shaming or, you know, body shame, any of the things, because there's so much on social media, because so much of our lives is spent on it. So we're definitely going to come back with another episode discussing more social media stuff. But before I guess you can like, comment, subscribe, all the things to this channel, but also, did you know that Liesl has a family channel, the Gonzalez Gang? And that will be linked as well, so make sure you go subscribe to her channel as well. And almost forgot, you guys, I have an inspirational quote for all you mamas out there.
We're back with the quotes.
Back with the quotes. And hopefully you'll enjoy this. Okay. I know it's hard, mama. I know it can be hard to get up every day and have those little people rely on you. I know it's hard to feel like sometimes your world is so small. I want to remind you, you are the world. You are the world that those little ones revolve around. You are their nurture, their home, and their comfort. You are everything to them. And I hope that even on your hard days, you know how special you are, especially to your little people.
That's cute.
That's good. That's good. You're so special, not only to your little people, but to us. Thanks for joining us. We love you guys, and we will see you next time.